everyone, and welcome to my channel, Cooking for the Family. I'm Devon, and today I'm going to share with you how I make my chicken and vegetable soup. The family was feeling under the weather lately, and so I decided to make us some good hearty chicken and vegetable soup. These are the ingredients, really simple to put together, and I'm going to share with you how I do it. First, what we're going to do is I'm going to be using some Yukon Gold potatoes, or you can either use white potatoes. Now, my potatoes, I'm not going to peel them, but if you'd like to peel your potatoes, you certainly can. And so what I like to do is, so I have all my veggies are all washed and ready to go, and then I just go on and I cut up my potatoes. Now, when it comes to your potatoes, you can cut them up as large or as small as you like. I like to do mine, roughly say about the size of like maybe quarter or a nickel, more size like a nickel, so that way they're bite size. And I like to use the Yukon Gold potatoes or the white potatoes. Also, sometimes you'll see new potatoes. And that's because when I'm cooking the soup and putting it together, it stands up, those potatoes stand up a lot better in a pot when you're boiling and cooking and stewing versus russet potatoes. And so I always like to use those Yukon Gold. Next, we're going to be using some carrots, and I'm using the baby carrots because, you know what, at the store they didn't have the regular long carrots, so I ended up getting baby carrots. And then I'm going to put some zucchini. Now, with the carrots, we're going to use about a cup of chopped carrots. And my potatoes, I use about a pound and a half of the potatoes, okay? Kind of depending on how many people you're making your soup for and how big your pot is, but usually about a pound and a half of potatoes is what I like to use. And I like to put in the zucchini. And with my zucchini, again, I didn't peel the zucchini. I like to leave the skin on my zucchini, but you can definitely peel your zucchini before adding it to your soup if you like, okay? If you are new to my channel, welcome, and if you're a returner, welcome back. My name is Devon, and this is my channel, Cooking for the Family. And on my channel, I share with you different recipes and different things that I've learned from my mom, my aunts, my grandma, just different things that have been given to me as recipes, and different meals, and different things that I like to bake and cook up for my family over the years. And so I hope that you join me and hit that subscribe button and share this wonderful journey with me, as well as we share different things that we love to cook for our families. Now, once I do that, what I'm doing next is I'm going to be using some kale. Now, with the kale, you want to make sure that you rinse your kale very well under cold running water, and you want to take your finger back and forth. I take my thumb back and forth over like the leaves to loosen up any dirt or debris that can sometimes kind of gather within the little leaves of the kale, okay? And then you just let it dry, and then I like to do a nice chop to put them in nice bite-sized pieces. And we're going to be using about 3 to 4 cups of the kale, okay? And so this is the kale that we're using. Now, also with the zucchini that we chopped up earlier, I like to use 3 zucchinis, 3 to 4, kind of depending on the size of your zucchini, but usually about 3 or 4 zucchini, and your pot of soup should do you. And next I'm chopping up some fresh flat leaf parsley, and we're going to chop up a bunch of it, and this is going to give us 2 tablespoons of that fresh chopped up parsley. And if you don't have any fresh flat leaf parsley, you can also use dried parsley as well, and with that you would just need 1 tablespoon. Now, in the description box below, I am going to have a list of all the ingredients you need to make this wonderful chicken vegetable soup. Now, also we're going to be using a half of a white onion, and this is a medium onion, and so we're going to be using half of a white onion. If you don't have a white onion, you can also use a brown onion as well. So what we're doing is, in my pot, I put in 2 tablespoons of butter, and you can use either salted or unsalted butter, and we're going to put in our chicken thighs. Now, what I did with my chicken thighs, you want to make sure that you rinse and clean off your chicken thighs, and I had them on some paper towels so that way they can dry any excess moisture, any excess water, because you want to get a nice little browning, a nice golden browning on your chicken thighs, and that's going to be able to happen if your thighs are dry. You don't want to put your wet thighs inside your pot. Now, once I've done that, I have my pot right now. It's on a medium-high heat because we're going to do a nice little browning, and we're going to start to create some fond in the bottom of our pot, and that's going to give us some nice richness to our soup. And this is how I like to start most of my soups, with giving it its nice richness. And like that was just the 2 tablespoons of butter and these 4 chicken thighs that we are going to stew. And I like using chicken thighs over using chicken breasts in my soup because it stands up better in the soup. The chicken thighs are not going to dry out like the chicken breasts normally would, but you can definitely use chicken breast if that's what you prefer. And so once I'm doing my browning, and don't put your lid on, I don't put my lid on, I just let it brown, and you see this nice beautiful color that chicken skin starts to give off, just like that. You see how good this is looking and how we have that nice fond and all that delicious flavor developing in our pot. And this is going to give our soup that delicious richness that I was talking about. Now, once we get to this stage, what you want to do is we're going to use 4 cups of water. Oh, and also before I added my chicken thighs to my pot, I had sprinkled a little bit of salt on each of my chicken thighs. And so you add your 4 cups of water, and we're going to end up also adding some chicken stock as well that I have. But you add your water first, and this is what you want to do. You want to take a spoon and you want to go around the edge, just like I'm doing here. Go around the edge, and what we're doing is we're lifting up the fond that's in the bottom of our pot, and we're also bringing up all those little bits and all those little pieces of flavor, so that way it gets incorporated into our soup base. It flavors our soup, and we have that delicious flavor to our chicken and vegetable soup. And so just keep going around, and I do this until I don't feel any bits on the bottom. Nothing is on this bottom stuck at all. That you just keep doing this, and then all those little bits will lift up. Okay. Now next I'm putting in 4 cups of chicken stock. And you can use either chicken stock or chicken broth, and I like using the combination of half water and half chicken stock because I like that marrying of giving me a little bit of that extra richness from the chicken stock, and then the base that I'm creating with my chicken thighs and my seasonings, and also with my vegetables. Now we're putting in our celery. Now our celery, I put it in whole because we are going to be stewing that onion and that celery to really infuse those flavors into our pot. Now we are going to season our soup with a little bit of salt and pepper. We're going to put our top on our soup, and we're going to let it come to a nice boil, okay? And when I first season my soup, I put in a teaspoon of salt, and I put in a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. And then we move everything around, and then what I'm checking for also if there was any bits left on the bottom. You want to put your top on your soup and let it come to a nice boil just like this. And you see how our chicken thighs are stewing and cooking up. Now we're adding in our carrots, and that's 1 cup of chopped peeled carrots that I put in the soup. And I just mix everything around. My celery is doing good, and what I'm checking for also with the celery is that it's going to get nice and soft, and that's when I know it's giving me all it's got to give. And now it's time to check our chicken thighs for their doneness, and how you can really tell is that on the ends what will happen is that the meat from the thighs will start to come away from the bone, and then also the skin on the thigh will start to really peel up, lift up, and come apart from the rest of the meat. And so that's when I know that my chicken thighs have stewed nicely and that they are ready to come out the pot. I'm going to put them in a bowl, and I'm going to let them cool because we are going to shred our chicken thighs and chop them, and we're going to add them back to our pot in just a minute, okay? And so you just go on and take your chicken thighs out your pot just like that, just like that. And remember, you want to look to make sure that your the meat has come away, start to pull away from the ends of the bone. And at this time, I also remove my onion, and I also remove the celery. Now, we're removing the celery. Now, you can go on, if you'd like, and take the celery and add them back into your pot. You can go on and just chop them up into small bite-sized pieces. And when you add your other veggies, you can also add your chopped celery back into your pot if you'd like. And now we're going to add in those potatoes. And the reason why I always put in my carrots first, because carrots are pretty dense and they take a little bit longer to cook than, say, the potatoes will or the zucchini will. So I always put in my carrots first when I'm going to be making my pot of soup. I like to put the carrots in first traditionally. And so next I'm putting in the zucchini. And the zucchini also, the zucchini doesn't take too long to cook, but we put in the zucchini and they're going to get nice and soft, and they'll get also a little bit translucent as well, your zucchini will. So we're going to put the top back on our pot, and we're going to let our soup continue to cook until our potatoes are nice and tender and the carrots are nice and tender and everything is ready. And this is what our soup is looking like so far. It's looking so yummy and it smells so good in the kitchen. All those nice fresh veggies in there. And so I give my pot a stir. The potatoes look nice and tender, and we're going to now add our chicken back into our pot. And so I just shredded the chicken off of our thigh bone, and we're just going to add all the chicken meat right back into our pot, nice and chopped up. And we're also going to add in our last couple of fresh veggies to our pot as well. And that is going to be the kale that we chopped up earlier, as well as we're going to put the finishing touches on with a little bit of that chopped parsley. And this is going to be 3 cups of fresh chopped kale, and you can do as much as 4 cups. It just kind of depends on how much kale that you prefer to have, and so that's kind of like to your liking basically. And so I like to put some kale in my soup and just mix everything around. The kale won't take too long to cook in the nice hot pot, and so we just go on and push everything down. So when you add your kale, just push everything down so that way it can go on and start to cook and boil. And then I'm going to top it off with that nice fresh parsley that we chopped. And this is our chicken vegetable soup, y'all. We have made a delicious pot of soup, nice fresh ingredients. This soup will warm you from the inside out, and it is just so comforting when you are feeling under the weather. Well, our soup is still very hot. Let's let it cool off just a bit. But this is all our delicious veggies in there, our soup stock, our broth right there from our soup. I'm going to let you have the first bite of our soup. Go on, give it a try. Okay, now my turn. Oh my goodness. This soup is so good. All those delicious fresh veggies in there. Well, I hope you give this recipe a try. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, what are you waiting for? Go on and hit that subscribe button. And if you like this video and appreciate the content, don't forget to show it some love. Give it a thumbs up. Click share. Share this video with a friend or a family. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my wonderful videos. Well, that is it for me today, y'all. And remember, it is always good when Devon is cooking for the family. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.